So now we're after moving on to part 2. So you're after talking about a lot about the season and what's happening so far and what's happening on the individual places. I suppose I just want to talk about the successes you're after having, because I know you're talking about improving and fair play to you on that one, because as an athlete it's very important to always look for that self-improvement. So I just want to kind of track back to one of the great performances you've ever had, and can you kind of think back to a time where you had a great performance and why it was a great performance?
Okay, if I probably look back to a time where I felt it was a great performance, maybe because I felt I really contributed that year, was when we won the intermediate county final, and that was back in 2012. And I felt that was probably one of my best performances. That was probably one of my best performances I ever played, just because of my just pure work rate and my all the skills necessary to make camogie, to be a good camogie player, like your first touch, your striking, your picking, you know, your blocking, all the necessary skills for camogie to make a good player were just up to scratch. My speed was up to scratch and I was training really hard. But that year I actually scored the winning point for us just to win for a point. But I just felt, I suppose, just everything about it, you know, the intensity during the match was very high, but I was very well capable of keeping up to that intensity, and I just played overall very well. You
spoke about getting that winning point in that county final. How did that make you feel?
Oh, sure, it was you know, amazing feeling. Like, you know, it was a club match, and when you're playing obviously for your club, you know, you're playing for your parish, you're playing for families, you're playing for community, and obviously scoring that winning point meant a lot, not just to me but to my family and to my community. So you know, it was a great feeling to win.
Yeah, okay, very good, excellent. I know 2 weeks ago you would have filled out the confidential questionnaire that I gave you, so I just kind of want to go over areas of that again, because I actually have it here in front of me. So I just want to kind of you to tell me a small bit more about that stuff. So we're going to start off and looking at the key areas for you as an individual athlete for the members of this team. So I suppose, what are key result areas for you as a member of the team? Like, what do you think are the most important, say, things that you need to improve on?
Overall, well, I think, as I said before, what I need to improve on is, like, you know, everybody obviously, there's different, you know, the different skills in camogie. As I said, you know, you're picking, you're blocking, you know, you're soloing. But for me, it is the big thing is the striking.
Okay, very good. That's excellent. Okay, so we're going to go on later on and maybe talk about that striking issue that you think you might be having, and we're kind of starting to focus in on that now a good bit, because I take it from you that's probably the most important aspect for you as an individual, for you to improve.
I would think so.
Exactly, yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the good stuff again. So I know you're having an issue with your striking, but tell me a small bit about the aspects that you're good at through the game.
Well, I suppose, without sounding boastful, there's so many things I'm good at, but
that's brilliant.
There's, I suppose, you know, there's areas. I think one big thing I suppose I get complimented is for, you know, I'm a very hard worker on the pitch. You know, I work really hard. I'm very motivated. I will never give up. At all times, I just I will always work. I'm probably very good at picking.
Okay.
Picking the ball, picking on the run. I'm you know, shooting I would be good at, and I would be very good at winning possession as well.
Okay. Excellent.
Winning with the ball,
which is very important.
Yeah, obviously, especially, you know, when you're playing in the midfield position and stuff, you know, on puckets and things like that. That, you know, I suppose I have that fight in me that you know, I really work hard to try win that ball. So
okay, very good. I suppose looking at a team environment now, what do you find positively challenging about your role in the team?
I suppose what I find challenging is, you know, maybe every game you play can be very different, and, you know, managers will always play it in a different type of style, so tactical style, you know, keeping up to tactics, and tactics are always changing, so, you know, that can be challenging if your manager decides to play maybe a 3 midfielder rather than a 2 midfielder, so that can be quite challenging. obviously coming up against players of great calibre, like, you know, I've often come up of inter-county players who are now playing on the senior Wexford Camogie team, and coming up against players like that can be quite challenging. But, you know, as I said, you just have to work hard and try to keep going.
Yeah, okay. I suppose someone who knows you on an individual basis, and I'm after looking at a good few of your games, I would have coached you before. I suppose as a coach, looking in at you, when you're playing the game, how do you think your performance is perceived by myself as a coach and even as a spectator?
I think that you can see that I'm a good player overall, and that I you know, that I work hard, but I can see that you can, you know, through your feedback to me, that you can see there's areas that I can improve on, and striking is probably, you know, very much one of them.
Okay, so we're just going to stop it there, just the end of part 2.